Cape Town is set. The Mayor's office sent out a media release yesterday saying last week, stepping up its efforts to keep the city's highways and central business district clean with the newly adopted 26 million rand main arterial and CBD cleansing plan. Mayor Geordin Hill-Lewis joins us now. Geordin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John.
You ignoring the suburbs, are you? Just focusing on the main arterial? Of course you're not, but perhaps
to the cynicism, John.
Yeah, but perhaps there's a particular focus on those areas because they are so visible to so many people.
Yes. Firstly, they have a large number of people using them every day, and they get dirty very quickly. Sometimes I ask the city to clean some of the main arterial roads the very next day or just days later. They look like they haven't been cleaned. So a lot of people litter out their cars, I'm afraid. The other problem, though, is that many of those roads are not actually run by the city. Many of them are Sunroll roads or provincial government roads. And so we don't ordinarily clean them. And then they have a different cleaning schedule, which means they go far too long until they are regularly cleaned. But no one knows that. So members of the public, residents, visitors, and so on say, they drive down those roads and they say, well, the city looks dirty, but even though those are Sunrail highways, for example, the N1 and the N2, the R300 and so on. So instead of just relying on having to beg for them to be cleaned, we're just going to do it ourselves and make sure that they look much better all the time. That's the idea.
Okay. Inevitably, people are going to feel. I started off with a slightly provocative phrasing of the question, as it were. But people are going to say, "What about us?" I'm already getting WhatsApps from listeners saying our area is disgusting. What about the townships? And it is something that you are going to encounter. That you are spending money very selectively.
No, not at all. This is a tiny fraction of the amount that we spend on area cleansing every year. A tiny, tiny fraction. And all of that is spent in suburbs and informal areas, informal settlements. We don't do any main arterial cleansing, or particularly on roads that we don't manage. So this is an entirely new top-up service and is a tiny fraction in addition to what we are spending in those areas. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of rands. In fact, I know the number. It's 2.2 billion rand that we spend on area cleansing every year in Cape Town. That's not your weekly trash collection. Area cleansing is just people walking around, going and cleaning up litter in communities. So, 26 million over 2.2 billion. It's a minuscule fraction.
And look, we have a responsibility as citizens to dispose of litter in a responsible way, and many of us are not discharging that responsibility pretty well. I spoke about the new ad which has been put together, funded by the city. Do you think that's having an impact, that the campaign around the the character and the message and
bingo,
taking into schools, pop it in the bingo bin, is having an impact? Is it too soon to measure yet?
One really hopes. I really do hope it is having an impact. But the fact is, it's the only publicly funded anti-litter campaign in the country that I'm aware of, or certainly the only one at scale. And so we're going to keep pressing on with it, and hopefully it does have an impact in changing attitudes and behaviors over time. But I'm glad that you raised it, because that's another part of what we are trying to do to get Cape Town to look and feel cleaner all over the city, in every part of the city. We have our nearly daily beach cleanups, and Bingo and his team going to all the schools around the city every day. Now this TV advert that you mentioned across the country. So we really are trying everything possible to get Cape Town to be cleaner. But we have a tremendous problem with litter, where people treat public spaces like just a kind of personal disposal space. And that is going to take a long time to change. The idea for Bingo, obviously South Africa's had previous campaigns before. We all remember them. But there is no other publicly funded campaign at the moment. But I saw this campaign that the state of Texas was running called Don't Mess with Texas. And it's that campaign has been running non-stop for 40 years. So it does take a long time to change attitudes and behaviors, but hopefully we are making an impact.
Again, lots of suggestions from listeners, and that's understandable. More bins is one question, or one suggestion, or one point which has been made by quite a few listeners while we've been talking. Geordin, do we have enough bins? My sense would be that people see bins, ignore them, and still toss it on the ground 15 meters away from a bin.
But in fact, if anyone feels that they want more of the green bingo bins in their area, just let us know and we will happily install more. We have lots of them. There are some areas where, unfortunately, they are constantly broken. Fires are set inside of them so that they melt into a big puddle of green plastic, or they are just completely removed to use inside people's homes and so on. So there are some areas where they disappear almost instantly. But in general, if you ask us for more, we will happily install more. Just let us know on the website.
And the employment implications of this 26 million rand main arterial and CBD cleansing plan are, I presume the job is not terribly well paid, but it is an income and a regular income for a while for people who are on the expanded public works program.
Yes, that's right. It's quite a significantly sized team, and we're just finalizing the list of main roads and main arterials now, where they'll be deployed. They'll be cleaning up every single day, and hopefully, people will see them out and about sometime quite shortly. And I think the final number is somewhere around 180 people, so it's quite a significantly sized team.
Mayor Geordin Hill-Lewis, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon.